they're going to teach me how to make fry bread. And my grandpa actually speaks Navajo, so he's going to give us a little introduction about fry bread.
Hello everyone. Today my wife is going to make for us toppings, which means fry bread. It originally, as tradition says, came from the long walk that the Navajos went on, a 300-mile walk to a reservation back in 1864. And the U.S. government gave them flour, salt, and lard, and that's where the beginnings of fry bread came from.
Okay, the ingredients are really simple. It's 4 cups of flour, and this is the 4th cup that I'm adding.
Okay.
And then, if you want to get a tablespoon of salt.
Salt, a whole tablespoon?
Uh-huh.
Right.
And and while she's doing that, I'll tell you the other ingredients are just baking powder, powdered milk, and some hot water. So there's our salt, and if you wouldn't mind getting 1 1/4 cup of hot water.
All right.
While I get 4 tablespoons of baking powder. Another ingredient that is a little different, but in this particular recipe it calls for dried milk. So I'm going to also put that in here in just a minute, as soon as I get this in. And fry bread, you can eat it as a taco, so you can make a taco mixture to put on top of it with shredded lettuce and tomatoes. You can also eat it with honey. After it's fried, you can put honey on it.
Oh, that's good. Some powdered sugar.
And some powdered sugar, and it's really yummy that way. So either way, and then I'm going to add some non-fat dry milk. It says 2 to 3 tablespoons. I usually just put in 2 heaping tablespoons. I had some Navajo women that came to our camp, and they, before they added the hot water, they mixed the flour and everything with their hands, and they rubbed it. I don't know why. They said it changed the texture and made it maybe fluffier when it was fried. And you're going to fry this in oil. I used a variety of oils, about a 1/2 inch deep. Has to be hot, so that when you take a tiny piece of dough and put it in the oil, it kind of bubbles, and that's how you know it's hot enough. And you just boil it in the oil a minute or less on each side. It depends on how hot the oil is. You'll kind of have to figure that out.
So maybe like vegetable oil or canola oil?
It could be vegetable or canola. I often use Crisco actually because it solidifies after and it's easier to clean.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, the Navajo ladies I think used lard, so that's more
that's
like
right.
Crisco, but I've done it with different oils. I wouldn't use olive oil because it's not a good boiling oil.
So 1 1/4 cups of hot water.
1 1/4 cups of hot water, and then we're going to let it knead for 10 minutes.
Okay, so in my KitchenAid right here, you could also do this by hand, I suppose, but this is going to knead for 10 minutes, and then we're going to show you the finished product, and we'll fry it up in a little bit. Okay, so the dough has been kneading for about 10 minutes, and we're going to turn our mixer off now and let this rest for 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, now that the dough is done, you tear off a piece about the size of a tennis ball. This dough is a little stiff today, and you test your oil by putting in a little dot of dough, and if it's bubbling, that tells you that the oil is probably hot enough. I have a paper towel to put the fry bread on after it's done. The dough should be stretchy. You kind of work it with your thumbs, and you pull it into a circle. As you do that, it will probably get a hole in it. It may get several holes. That's okay. The Navajos, if it doesn't get a hole, they put a hole in it. I think there's a religious reason for that, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway, this dough today turned out a little stiffer than I like it. And I'm not sure why. It kind of turns out differently every time I make it. So after you've kind of got it pretty much the same thinness as best as you can, with a couple of holes, you kind of work the edges, stretch it out. You lay it into the hot oil carefully. And you may have to adjust the temperature every once in a while if it looks like it's cooking too fast. You could, right now I have it set on a 5, which is about medium. It may have to be a little less than medium because this is cooking pretty fast. And you turn it over, let it fry on the other side. It should be no browner than that. That's a good color to go for. Let's check what. And then you let some of the oil drip off. I'm going to turn that heat down just a bit. And you let it drain on a paper towel. Oftentimes I'll make several pieces ahead and I will have the oven on warm and put it in a glass pan so that it can just stay warm and I just keep making them. That's generally what I do. And then later, Audrey's will show you what the things that you can put on top of it.
Yep, a bunch of taco toppings.
Right. And enjoy a Navajo taco.
Thank you.
Thanks, Audrey.
Okay, so we fried the rest of the fry bread, and the toppings are a mixture of refried beans and ground beef and lettuce and onions and tomato and cilantro, and that's how we turn it into a Navajo taco. Remember, you can also drizzle it with some honey and powdered sugar, and you can have a little Navajo dessert. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.